Hello there, Commonwealth from here. And with Splatoon Raiders Release date confirmed and the Super Mario Galaxy movie finally in theaters in Japan, I think we're getting closer to Nintendo finally revealing their big 2026 games. So be sure to leave a like, subscribe and press the notification bell. The Nintendo Today/Twitter Direct of Splatoon Raiders and its release date on July 23rd gives us a lot of indications when it comes to Nintendo's lineup, including for the second half of 2026. Because what Nate the Hate brought up in the very end of March seems to be the absolute truth. Based on what we've seen with Splatoon Raiders, and also the news we got on Yoshi and the Mysterious Book, whether that was the preview or the overview trailer, it is clear that there is a pattern to all of this. Because the start of the year has all been about feel-good games. Animal Crossing, New Horizons Switch 2 Edition, we had Mario Tennis Fever, we had the smash hit Pokemon Pokopia, and now Tomodachi Life, Living the Dream. By all means, the first half is all about these kind of cozy, charming games, as you also see that with Yoshi on May 21st. But with that said, it is clear that starting from probably June, and definitely now July, it will be far more action-packed and appeal more to, say, the Nintendo fans that actually enjoy a little bit more challenge when it comes to using their controller and also their skills. As Splatoon Raiders coming out in July is a very good example of this, something that fits very well with what Nate the Hate also said, namely that this is a summer game. The other summer games that are left, or late spring game in this case, since if there's 1 month that hasn't been filled out, it is June. And one of the biggest statements by Nate the Hate is that we're getting a new Star Fox game, one that is going to be revealed sudden and then release either at the end of spring or sometime during the summer. And seeing June being left out, there's only really two options to fill it out. It is Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave, and it is the Star Fox game. And the reveal of this one now makes sense, as the Super Mario Galaxy movie is also out in Japan, including with Fox McCloud. Which means that marketing now, already starting from a few days after the upload of this video, can be focused if there's a new Star Fox game coming out. And if Star Fox is confirmed, say in the next few weeks, that lines up very perfectly with the big prediction. The one that we all have been waiting for as Zelda fans, namely Ocarina of Time, a remake. Where there's smoke, there's usually fire. And in this case, I would say that there's a lot of indications and hints that we've been seeing over the last few weeks regarding development teams, regarding direct statements, and also prior hints with Eiji Aonuma smiling and so on, where I just start to feel that this is happening. But of course, we're probably not going to see anything until Nintendo finally gives us a general Nintendo Direct. Because out of the games that we've talked about so far, it only seems that Star Fox and Fire Emblem Fortune's Weave have any chances of being shown before a general Nintendo Direct. What Nate said about Star Fox is that it's gonna likely be revealed before the general Nintendo Direct. So it'll be our greatest indication whether we are getting Ocarina of Time remake or not, depending on whether it's revealed before a general Nintendo Direct or not. Of course, Nintendo could change plans. We could suddenly see a general Nintendo Direct with all of these games, including Fire Emblem, including Star Fox reveal, and of course Ocarina of Time remake reveal. But the thing about Star Fox is that we haven't seen that franchise in 10 years now. Actually, it's over 10 years at this point. Star Fox Zero was actually the very first review I did with a game provided by Nintendo of Norway. And for it to succeed really with a new game in 2026, apart from of course Fox being much more recognizable now thanks to the Super Mario Galaxy movie, it is to create a game that isn't just a retelling of Star Fox, SNES, and 64. That was one of many problems with Star Fox Zero. You need a new quest, you need a new adventure. And what we saw in that movie is a good example of how it can be done. It can be different than we have seen. We're gonna have a remake anyway this year in Ocarina of Time Remake, a game that could see of course some changes as we saw with Star Fox Zero as well, adding elements from Star Fox 2 in 2016, but where you will be more limited to, you know, the progression, the main quest, and so on. It will be more technical and world-size changes, say, maybe expanding certain areas like, say, Hyrule Field or Hyrule Castle Town, where you will have proper camera controls, maybe some new side quests here and there, maybe even a new dungeon. But you're not going to change overarching the game. There's not going to be a different main villain here. You have been building towards that final battle in a new style, thanks to the Lego set that we got in March as well. You can't do many changes when it comes to Ocarina of Time Remake, at least not beyond what will keep the game being Ocarina of Time. And for Zelda's 40th anniversary, you need to be respectful. Improve certain elements, give quality of life improvements, and of course, also take the best elements of the Ocarina of Time 3D remaster we saw back in 2011, so exactly 15 years ago. And with that version, it is clear that at least Master Quest and Boss Rush modes should make its way into also the remake. But Star Fox, on the other hand, when revealed, will have far more freedom, and it should be a brand new game. It should have new mechanics, it should have a new story with the Star Fox squad. We just don't know exactly how long Star Fox has been in development, and with most Star Fox games, Shigeru Miyamoto, the series creator of both Star Fox and The Legend of Zelda, has had a lot of impact on the franchise, both positive and negative. Starting from the GameCube, some will say negative. Star Fox Zero could have been something more, but ended up being, you know, another retelling or reimagining, more specifically, of Star Fox 64. So that's where it all depends on when it comes to that game. It can't be a reimagining, it can't be a remake of Star Fox 64 because we're tired of that. We already had a remake or remaster of Star Fox 64 on the 3DS, interestingly, just like with Ocarina of Time 3D. And that is my little scare here, is that this whole situation, starting with Raiders and most likely continuing towards the general Nintendo Direct, cannot end with just 2 remakes. Of course, with Ocarina of Time Remake, we're all happy anyway, but with Star Fox, it needs to be a brand new game. It needs to be a game, one we haven't never seen before. And that's because we need action games. We need games that have high-paced action, some great music, and which isn't about making decisions within a menu, because as much as Fortune's Weave is more dynamic than prior Fire Emblem games and gives you more room for exploration, it is still a turn-based strategy game. And we have had quite a lot of those menu-based games this year already that we need some more action-packed content, which we're getting, of course, with Splatoon Raiders, a spin-off that looks very, very promising, and I think we'll be able to bring more people into Splatoon as well, because the multiplayer is kind of scaring people away, while here there's less of a pressure, and you have co-op play as well, which is also great. But speaking honestly here, the Duskbloods and Elden Ring are too tough for a lot of Nintendo players. But Star Fox and Ocarina of Time will be the perfect set to have 2 games that, where one performs of course better than the other. We know that Ocarina of Time Remake will sell more than a new Star Fox game. But then again, as long as Star Fox manages to sell around, say, 3 million copies, it will be a success. It's all about reviving a franchise that has been dormant for 10 years. While in the case of Ocarina of Time Remake and the reveal of it, it ties far more to providing a holiday game when we don't have one in Pokemon, since Pokemon Winds and Waves are coming out in next year in 2027, and the same goes for most likely 3D Mario, which is something as well that was pointed out by Nate the Hate, who said that 3D Mario is not happening for the 40th anniversary, and the best we can hope for maybe is an early reveal. The reason being simple, 3D Mario games don't get revealed a long time prior to its release. It's not like with brand new The Legend of Zelda games. And speaking of The Legend of Zelda, Ocarina of Time Remake is obviously a holdover game. A game that is there to provide something new that hasn't been on the system during the Switch generations of systems before. Yes, you had it of course for Nintendo Switch Online, but that is the N64 version. We don't have the 3DS version, and I really hope we're not gonna get it. Instead we get the proper remake that is fitting not to 2011 but to 2026. And the same goes for Star Fox. We need a game that is brand new, just like we're getting a new Fire Emblem game with Fortune's Weave. And when we look at the lineup, it is clear that Star Fox would make a lot of sense in June, and then have Fire Emblem, say, in August or September, and with Ocarina of Time Remake, it could be a perfect fit in either October or November. I've leaned now more towards November, the reason being quite simple. Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment was in early November, but it could be maybe even closer to the holiday season, because we don't have a Kirby Air Riders this year. We know that a Nintendo Switch sports game has been rumored, or resort game of this one. We all load Wii Sports Resorts, and it could be switching between those 2, but I think that is more of a summer game. Ocarina of Time Remake is more a game for the holiday season and a classic November candidate, something that we have seen over and over again when it comes to The Legend of Zelda. But what do you think about this lineup, and how we're getting step by step closer to what Nate the Hate has been teasing and pointing to in the end of March? So now, a month ago. Sound off in the comment section down below. If you haven't already, then be sure to leave a like, subscribe and press notification bell to not miss any upcoming Nintendo Switch 2, Zelda Ocarina of Time Remake videos, and much more. Last but not least, a big thanks to you for watching, and to all our patreon.com/commonrealm patrons. Special shoutouts go to our heroes, Cheryl, Garrett Hoy, Holly Wolf, and Kintaro. You rock, and please enjoy these awesome videos.